The calendar, it turned over. It is no longer February. It is now March. Yet it is still the same basketball team playing on the court. Welcome in to this Monday, March 3rd edition of The Lunch Break. Live on KDUS AM 1060, the KDUS AM 1060 app, and on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours. Yes, we have to do it. I'm contractually obligated to do it. We have to talk about the basketball team today here on the program. I know we ended their season on Friday. They are still going to play games. There are still storylines for us to discuss. And it is so bad that if for those of you that are watching on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel, you would notice something different about me today. I had to put on the glasses. No, my vision's fine. My vision is perfect. These are blue light glasses because over the weekend I got a migraine, and I think it was because I was staring at my screen watching this Suns basketball product over the weekend on Friday night and then again last night, and it all came to me, and I've had a migraine for the last, 24 hours or so. That is what this team has brought me to. So, yeah, that's where we're going to start today's program.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
How about 7 straight losses to the Minnesota Timberwolves? And funny, it's a joke. It's a practical joke. I fooled myself. And I'm sure some of you probably got fooled by it as well. Because for a brief moment last night, for a second, you thought, oh my goodness, this team's going to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got off to a fantastic start, coming off of the win against New Orleans. And you're thinking, well, maybe they're going to do a small little run here. Try to convince us. They're going to let us down in the end, but for just a brief moment, just maybe, they've got a small little run in them. 3 or 4 games in a row for us to reconsider everything. A 21-9 start against a team like Minnesota had us all thinking that this team was ready for something. But just like we have seen with this team over and over again, it's why the opening of the show was a new month, but the same old Suns. They allow teams right back into it, game after game, night after night, moment after moment. It doesn't matter how well they start. It doesn't matter how poorly they start. It doesn't matter if they have a good third quarter or if they don't have a good third quarter. You know this team is just going to give games away. And that is exactly what they did last night. Considering the opponent, it's one of the best starts to a game we've seen from them in a pretty long time, right? The Memphis game, a close second there. Maybe you want to say that game was a better start considering Memphis is a lot better than Minnesota this year. Fair enough. But overall, we haven't seen a lot of these recently. These fast starts, high energy starts, get out to an early lead, put pressure on the opposition. We hadn't seen that against good opponents recently. And they did it last night, 21-9. And I'll tell you, I had the game on the tablet here, and I was walking around the house getting some chores done late at night, and I was mentioning to the family, wow, the Suns actually are competing tonight. They're playing better than we've seen from them. And my family, I love them to death. They're the best. They put up with a lot. They put up with me just watching these games, and they put up with me getting angry at the television screen. And there are times where my daughter, she's 10, she looks at me and she goes, what are you doing? Why are you watching this? And it's my job. It's how we pay the bills around here. This is how we do all the things that we do. I have to sit and watch these games, even though you hear me not being very happy with the Phoenix Suns. Last night I was happy at the start of the game. 21-9 start. I thought, wow, this is going to be entertaining. They might be able to beat this Minnesota team 2 games in a row. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but at least it's a lot better than the alternative. But over and over again this season, they have just disappointed us with bad moment after bad moment. And I don't know which moment is worse. There are 2 moments that stand out to me from last night's game. There are 2 moments that stand out to me as if we were going to do a poll question today, which moment for you was worse? The first moment that I'd like to present and make a case for was when the Suns had a 23-12 lead. And yes, I broke out the notebook last night. I was taking notes. They had a 23-12 lead. And they proceeded to have 3 consecutive possessions with Devin Booker turnovers. And a 23-12 lead for the Suns evaporated. It was 23-20 in about 40 seconds. 3 straight turnovers by Devin Booker in the first quarter that evaporated Everything about their good start was all gone. Good defense, activity on the glass, rebounding the basketball, getting out in transition, the shot making early. All of it was great. And it immediately got cast aside because I found myself at the end of the first quarter going, why is this lead so small? How could they have played as well as they did in the first quarter, and yet this game is close? It is moments like that, 40 seconds where you have 3 turnovers on 3 consecutive possessions. Don't worry, we'll get to the turnovers overall here in a second. So that's moment number 1. That's portion of the game number 1 that I would present as the worst moment of the game. Or it might have been this.
First quarter, his first game back in over a month. Reed whips it cross court, one more. Alexander Walker. And a great offensive rebound by Randall. Wonderful hustle by Randall.
I tell you what, a welcome sign for the Timberwolves to have Julius Randle back in the lineup, not only because of his scoring and playmaking, but effort plays.
Oh, what a dime drop inside. And Randall with the punch. Alexander Walker now. McDaniels with the jelly at the rim.
I was about to say, that is the good old-fashioned finger roll. Jaden McDaniels, look at the Timberwolves. This is the group that we saw a year ago that was extremely connected.
Or was that a missed 3, hustle play by Randall to get an offensive rebound, reset the play, slams it down, Ryan Dunn turnover on the inbound pass, Jaden McDaniels, easy layup at the rim, and he wanted to throw that thing down last night. He wanted to break the rim. Ended up having to settle for the finger roll. Or was it that moment when you knew that the game was over in the fourth quarter? I don't know. Maybe it was the 22 turnovers that led to 40 points for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Maybe it was that. A complete just eruption, collapse from the Phoenix Suns. All of the things that we've seen from this team over and over and over again just keep showing up. It's like a bingo card. It's the free space. Turnovers are a free space. The team having 15 to 20 turnovers is a free space on a Suns basketball bingo card. They had 22 last night. Truthfully, I don't know what the final number ended up as. I stopped counting after a while. They kept showing it on the graphic, and I kept looking away because of how disgusting it was to look at, the amount of turnovers that they had and the points that they were allowing off of those turnovers. I believe, I'm pulling it up now just to make sure we're factually accurate here on the show. I believe the turnover battle ended up 22 turnovers for the Suns compared to just 8 for the Timberwolves. I believe that's what it was. I'm just going to check just so we're all on the same page here to start the show. 22 to 8 in the turnovers, and the points conceded off of the turnovers were 40 to 9. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you're coached by. I don't care if you have 5 all-NBA players on the floor at all times. If you are going to turn the ball over 22 times and you're going to allow 40 points off of turnovers, you are a negative 31 in points off of turnovers. You are not going to win a basketball game. It's not going to happen. I don't care the coach. I don't care the talent. If you are going to turn the ball over that much, you are never going to win. You allowed 40 points off of turnovers last night. So not only are you granting extra possessions, not only are you giving away your own offensive possessions, but you know what that stat tells me, the 40 points off of the 22 turnovers? It was easy for Minnesota to score off of those. You didn't bring any physicality. You didn't make it difficult for them to score. They had 8 turnovers. You scored 9 points off of those turnovers. They made you earn it. You rolled out the red carpet like it was the Oscars last night and made it easy. And maybe that's why you've lost 7 in a row to this team. Maybe that's why you've lost 11 of your last 14. Maybe it's why, and we're going to talk about this a little later on in the program, I believe it's coming up in hour number 2, why you are closer to being 13th in the West than you are to being in the play-in tournament. Maybe this is just one reason why that's the case today. Kevin Durant called it embarrassing after the game. Yeah, you betcha. You betcha that was embarrassing. And I think the only thing that's saving Mike Budenholzer's job today is that they beat New Orleans on Friday. Because if you would have lost 2 to New Orleans and then got embarrassed at home last night, I think we would very much be having a conversation of, should Mike Budenholzer be fired today, and potentially reacting to him being fired. He might have staved that off for just a little bit. But that's a conversation that's going to have to be had here in the coming weeks. There's still a lot of basketball to go. A lot of games to be played. A lot of turmoil that can be created. A lot more embarrassing efforts like you saw last night.